Hey there! So, last night I decided to purchase the last ticket to the Season Sevateem event in London. It's an event to celebrate Season 15, which, you know, the Sevateem pun doesn't really work with that, but whatever. And Louise Jameson is going to be there, the original K9 prop is going to be there, cast members from Season 15 itself will be there, like Andred. And they'll also be screening the odd combination of episodes that is Image of the Fendal Part 1, Sunmakers Part 4, Underworld Part 1, and The Invasion of Time Part 6. So there you go. But I decided to get the ticket because, you know, why not? Fun way to round off Tom Baker month on the Universal. So, I'll see you later.
Enjoy. There will be 2 episodes. There will be a slight bit of faffing between the 2 episodes where they have to change something. They told me, but I didn't understand it. Then I'm going to do an interview. Then it's the photo studio. Then 2 more episodes. Then I'm going to do an interview. Then it's the raffle. And then it's autographs. And then it's the bar. Go and see him to buy your raffle tickets and win a unique print. Proceeds go to, and I'm going to read this out so I get it right, Domestic Abuse Volunteer Support Services, which is a charity chosen by Louise.
It was a magical time to work for the BBC. The BBC was very prolific. It had, quite a considerable drama output in those days. But I think the word parsimonious does apply rather well to the BBC because nobody got rich. But nevertheless, it was an exciting and creative time, and especially working on Doctor Who because they were still experimenting. And as you can see, I mean, the technology was a bit clunky, but it was obviously, to develop, but at the time it was the white heat of technology. So there we are. The BBC thinking was, actors prefer to work at night. So we would turn up at 9 o'clock in the morning, we would get our costumes on, we would walk our way through the sets, we would rehearse with cameras because they were the great big clunky ones that moved around the floor. And then we would all have a meal break later in the afternoon, then we would all come back at night and actually shoot the thing, by which time we were absolutely knackered. So then we all went up to the BBC Club and we had a few drinks and we met other directors. And getting into the BBC Club, by the way, was quite a performance. You had to be a member of the club, and you had to, in order to get past the uniform commissionaire, you either had to produce proof of membership or you had to be signed in by a member, who in this case was usually the director. Except on, I think it was Thursday nights, which was Top of the Pops nights. And the club was then full of screaming weenie boppers, hoping to get a glimpse of their rock and roll heroes, what Jimmy Savile used to call his happy hunting ground. Yes, I know.
Yes, the dog, much to sound's dismay, was the sound supervisor's, was not silent. Actually, on this surface, he's actually pretty good. On the flat surface of a studio floor, which of course was solid, it wasn't carpeted, he didn't make a lot of noise. And invariably we had to do separate takes, just with the ears going or whatever, which made the most noise, or the motors running, just to keep sound happy. They weren't happy with the dog most of the time.
Graham Williams had the choice of actually dropping the episode and then distributing the finance for that episode through the other 3 stories in the season. But he made the decision that he was going to go ahead with it. And so Dick Coles, who was the production designer, was very good, and he said, well, let's do it all on blue screen. Are we up for that? Now, we had just been set up as a separate department at that time, so this was a cool thing, and it was feasible to do, which it hadn't, 2 years before that, it probably wouldn't have been practical. So yeah, it was kind of mind-boggling. But all of episode 2 and 3 was storyboarded. Every single shot was storyboarded, and all the setups, the number of cameras involved, because with blue screen you have to have a camera on the foreground and a camera on the background and combine them, and then there were third cameras for other bits and pieces as well. So this all took a fantastic length of time, and they overrun badly.
I remember my accent being criticised. Somebody decided it sounded like a Mexican bandit. And I was trying to do my best. Slovenian, I think it was. But that really is about all. I remember it being, it was an exciting
Was
show
it
to work on.
Mexican Slovenian?
Mexican Slovenia. Oh, that's right, yeah. West Slovenia.
I don't know if she's still up the back, but I should ask you about Louise. Do you remember working with Louise?
Yes, I do. Yes, absolutely.
And Tom?
And Tom? Yes.
Right.
Well, I knew Tom of old because Tom and I were both members of Laurence Olivier's National Theatre at the Old Vic. And I was there when Tom got the part of Rasputin in the Nicholas and Alexandra film, featuring my dear friend Michael Jaston, whom some of you may remember as well. But Tom was, I was no stranger with Tom, and he was a wonderful, eccentric man. Is he still with us?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Oh, good.
He's here, but no, he's not. No.
Let's get a two-shot. Can't get the dog up to Tom had to crawl around on the floor with the dog, which he did do, but he didn't really. There were a few occasions he wrapped his scarf and pulled the dog along, and the mechanism did not like that. It was a case of rapid rebuild, but he was a consummate actor, so got on with his fellow actor, which happened to be a mechanical dog.
Homophobic dog. You're one of them, aren't you?
Too fond of Davey.
So, we just watched... Oh yeah, I'm here with Kian.
Hello.
Friends. Hi. Yeah, we just watched Underworld Part 1 and Image of the Fender Part 1, and now it's photo time. Everyone's gonna have their group photos with Louise over there and K9. So I just had photos with Louise and K9, and I'm just out here taking a break, and I'm just chilling with my homie.
Hello again.
Hello.
You're the best. And as the collector says, it's moments like these that give me a real feeling of job satisfaction. Please welcome Louise Jameson Leon. Leela and Andred, how do you think married life went for them?
You better ask my husband.
Very gracious of you. Yeah, no, well, I've personally been married for 60 years to the same partner, so she might have been all right.
I'm not sure. I personally, my marriage lasted I hate being, a statistic, but the 7 years, we had a brilliant 7 years. So I never think of my marriage as a failure. It was a success. It was just a brief one.
Yeah.
But you've obviously had 60 amazing years. Congratulations. That's quite something in this day and age.
She sends good wishes to you all.
Oh, thank you. Do you think those characters would have lasted together? I mean, well, I suppose we were both warriors in a way, weren't we?
Yeah.
We'd have had a football team of children.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say the script doesn't really give the two of you much to say, oh look, these people are falling in love. So did you have to sort of find that in
We
there?
found a bit of hand-holding, didn't
Yeah.
we? That wasn't in the script.
It was the script. I think it's so busy. They're so dense, these scripts, and with Tom being so inventive as well, putting in wonderful little quips, and I think it's the amazing humour that's in this script. In any case, it made me laugh a lot more than when I first saw it. I think that's why it was so successful. Doctor Who for a long time, they all took to a humour. It wasn't just an adventure, but it was adventure like you play with a little kid, and you'd include poking him. It had that quality.
You would have liked to have traumatised the nation by being killed off.
Well, they've killed me a lot, haven't they? I mean, they killed me off in Bergerac, and I died in Casualty, and Big Finish have killed Lena off a couple of times, and she's come back, and yeah, maybe I should take the hint. I do think that they didn't fully develop our relationship because rather flatteringly, Graham didn't want me to leave. So he, even up until the night before we shot that final scene, he came up to me in the studio and said, we could change it, we can rewrite that last scene, we can do it overnight, you can go in, you can press the buttons, you can still travel with the Doctor. I don't think they'd fully decided what to do with the following season yet. I can remember sitting in the car with you, and the car wouldn't start, and I put my head out the window and go, please God, just this once, please let it start. And you said, I don't think it quite works like that. And I did it and it started, and I just went, from my lips to God's ears, that's all I'm saying.
Look who it is, it's our boy! He is huge. I won't touch him, but it is tempting to. So that was fun. I got Louise to sign Horror Fang Rock. Had a photo with her in the K9 prop. And I told Louise, how awesome she is, how great Leela is, and how it was her in Horror Fang Rock that convinced Hugh to be a Doctor Who fan. I know that sounds bad, like, oh, I turned him into one, but no, he was willing. But no, she's lovely, and this was fun. And now I'm back home. But yeah, that was a fun experience. It was my first time ever going to Riverside Studios. It's kind of like the BFI, but obviously not quite. But the experience was pretty similar to that. But yeah, as I said, Louise was nice. Seeing K9, like the actual original prop in person, was really cool. Got to hang out with Kian, got to rewatch a few episodes that I enjoy. Even Underworld Part 1, like Episode 1 specifically, is pretty cool. But yeah, I just thought that'd be a nice little coda to Tom Baker Month, especially because, it was mostly focused on, early Tom Baker Month was, so I just thought this little vlog would shed a little light on the more, middle part of the era. But hey-ho. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you next month.